Flashpoint Fire Rescue. This is a really fun cooperative 2 to 6 player game about being firefighters and trying to stop the fires that are burning down a particular home. There's 2 sides to the board. There's kind of a first floor, second floor. So you've got a little bit of a different layout to try each time you play the game. There's a lot of different firefighters for you to choose from on who you want to be. And there's a mechanism in the game where you can go outside the building back to your fire truck and spend some action points to switch your character. So you're not limited to the character you might start as. Now, being cooperative, everybody's trying to work together to use their abilities and action points given every turn to the most effect as to get rid of the fire that's really spreading out of control, and of course rescue the victims. In the game, the victims are at the beginning just 3 points of interest tokens on various spaces of the map of the home, and you have to go and explore and see if it's actually a person or an animal that needs rescuing, or if it's just a blank token. You have a goal for a certain number of victims and people and animals and things like that that you need to save to win the game. And you're timed by basically how long it takes for the building to burn down. Whenever fire continues to expand, it can destroy walls and destroy doors, and there's metal cubes that you place on the walls, and whenever there's 2 cubes placed, that indicates that that wall has been completely damaged and destroyed. You can now walk through it, yes, but once all the cubes that are in the game box are, on the board, then structurally the building has fallen down and you lose. Everyone inside dies. So that's basically what you're trying to avoid happening, is rescuing as many people as you can before, the building collapses. At the end of your turn, you always do a fire expansion roll, which involves 2 dice, and 1 die being a D6 and the other being a D8. And the actual grid of the board shows you which, space that it actually corresponds to when you roll. So those 2 dice correspond to a specific grid point, and that's where the fire expands to. Usually, if it's empty, it just kind of becomes smoke. If there's fire there, or if there was smoke, then it becomes fire. And anytime smoke is next to fire, it turns into fire. But if there was already fire and you rolled that spot, then an explosion happens and it expands outwards, 1 space out in each direction, up, down, left, right, and various effects happen from that. Now, if there's a series of fires from, the up or left direction, it'll continue going to the furthest out point that, it hits a wall or it hits an empty space, something like that, and that's how the fire is going to spread. And that fire step happens after every turn. So you're talking about, really trying to keep an eye on how, where the toughest spots are in the map that you're trying to prevent. Now, there's trucks, there's the fire truck, there's the ambulance. You can move these around. You can, use the fire truck hose to try to, more effectively, point at specific areas on the floor plan to get a bunch of fire at one time. But you have limits. It's a lot of fun. It sounds stressful, and it is a little bit, but it's mostly just a very rapid, enjoyable game where even if you're not too excited about the theme, like I've introduced this game to people who aren't excited about, saving the building being burnt to death from fire, but they still had a great time with this. I think it's just got a lot of replayability. It's a lot of fun. The different abilities that you can use and most effectively do to work together. It makes this game really unique, and there's a lot of expansions you can get to add, more gameplay and new game mechanisms. But even the base game is just a lot of fun. If you haven't had an opportunity to try this and you're looking for a fun cooperative game that plays in under an hour, this Flashpoint Fire Rescue is highly, highly recommended.